Let's talk about that moment when success doesn't feel like success. You hit the milestone, the launch works, the numbers look great, but instead of celebrating, you're quietly wondering if maybe you just got lucky.
You've got proof that you earned it. Sales, testimonials, a solid team. But deep down, you're waiting for someone to figure out you don't belong here.
That voice, it's called imposter syndrome.
But here's the part most people miss. Sometimes that voice isn't completely wrong.
Sometimes it's actually not self-doubt. It's data. It's your intuition telling you something in your system actually needs attention.
So today we're breaking down how to tell the difference between fear that's lying and feedback that's leading.
First, let's define imposter syndrome properly. Psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes coined the term imposter phenomenon in 1978 after studying high-achieving women who, despite evidence of success, believed they were frauds.
And it's still incredibly common. A 2020 systematic review found prevalence rates anywhere from 9 to 82%, depending on the population studied, especially high among entrepreneurs and professionals, according to the Journal of General Internal Medicine.
But in non-medical terms, it's that chronic inability to internalize your success. You downplay the wins, overcredit luck, and fear being found out.
But it's important to note imposter feelings aren't always irrational. Sometimes they're your brain's way of highlighting real uncertainty or a missing system.
Neuroscience explains why this feels so real. When you step outside your comfort zone, your amygdala, the part of your brain that detects threat, it activates the same fear response you'd have if a bear suddenly walked into your office.
Except the bear is just a new project, a bigger audience, or a higher paying client.
Meanwhile, that prefrontal cortex, the logic center of your brain, gets temporarily hijacked by cortisol and adrenaline. Studies from both Harvard and MIT show that mild imposter feelings can actually improve performance by motivating preparation until stress passes a threshold and productivity collapses.
So the goal isn't to eliminate the feeling entirely. It's to know when it's motivating and when it's misleading.
Here's the diagnostic question. Is this fear factual or fictional? If the thought is, I'm missing a process for scaling this service, and you truly have no process, that's actually a fact. One attacks your identity, the other invites improvement.
Let's talk about how each type A archetype wrestles with this.
First, the hustler. She's always moving. When she finally stops, self-doubt hits like a whiplash. She mistakes speed for safety.
So when business slows or results plateau, she assumes she's failing, when she might just need rest or refinement.
The overplanner tries to out-organize her insecurities. She builds 37 spreadsheets to prove that she's legitimate.
But over-preparation doesn't cure imposter syndrome. It feeds it. Because the more you plan, the more ways you find to believe you're not ready.
And finally, the avoider. She dodges those opportunities completely. She'll say, I'm not ready to apply for that mastermind, or I'll launch when I feel just a little more confident.
But confidence doesn't come first. Evidence does.
Each pattern is a different flavor of the same fear. If I try and fail, I'll confirm the worst beliefs I have about myself.
Okay, let's get practical. Here's how to test whether your doubt is imposter syndrome or a valid signal.
Step 1, evidence audit. Write down 3 objective results that prove your competence. Numbers, testimonials, outcomes. If the evidence is strong, but you still feel like a fraud, that's the imposter syndrome talking.
Step 2, gap identification. List what specifically feels uncertain. I don't have a follow-up system, or I'm not sure how to hire. If it's concrete and fixable, it's a valid concern. It's not a character flaw.
Step 3, action assignment. For imposter thoughts, counter with proof and movement. Send the pitch, post the video. For valid gaps, schedule learning, book a training, hire a coach, create that SOP.
Movement rewires the brain faster than mantras ever will.
When you mislabel fear as fact, you're self-sabotaging. You underprice, overdeliver, or decline opportunities that you're very qualified for.
When you mislabel fact as fear, you spiritualize inaction. It's just imposter syndrome, instead of fixing what's broken.
Both paths lead to burnout and stagnation. One drains your energy, the other drains your credibility.
And women, especially type A women, walk that line constantly because we're socialized to earn our worth through achievement.
But worth isn't a KPI. Results are.
Here's the reframe that changed everything for me. Feeling like an imposter means you're expanding the definition of who you are.
Right, and growth always creates a gap between your current identity and your future capacity. The gap sometimes feels like fraud.
So instead of saying, who am I to do this, say, I'm becoming the person who does this.
Research on self-efficacy shows that mastery experiences, or small wins, are the fastest way to rebuild that confidence.
So stack wins, track them, and when your brain says you don't belong here, hand it the receipts.
And remember, confidence isn't built from compliments, it's built from competence applied consistently.
Imposter feelings need emotional regulation. Valid concerns need operational fixes.
So pair mindset work with measurable systems. Therapy or journaling plus dashboards or SOPs. Breathing techniques plus better onboarding.
Because self-trust grows when your environment supports your success.
You can't affirm your way out of chaos. You have to organize your way out of it.
So here's your challenge this week. When doubt creeps in, ask, is this about me or about a missing process?
If it is about you, collect proof. If it's about process, create one.
And if you want to know which type A pattern fuels your imposter cycle, whether you're the hustler who overworks, the overplanner who overthinks, or the avoider who hides,
take the Type A quiz. It'll show you how your wiring impacts your confidence and your execution.
because imposter syndrome isn't the problem.
Believing it without investigating, that's the problem.